what really stood out to me was the jockeying of the bubble teams. You have Washington win, Ottawa win, Florida loses in the East. You have Nashville beating Seattle. So in the East now you have 5 points separating four teams for the last wildcard spot. You have 6 points separating three teams in the West for the last wildcard spot. So I'm curious, looking into this weekend, Steven, is there a certain game or games that are jumping out to you as particularly crucial?
Well, Pittsburgh versus Washington tonight will be one to watch for sure. But I think the games here I'm looking at are the next two ones for the Islanders because they're one of the few teams with the two games tonight and tomorrow, and they play Columbus. A pretty battered team. They're last in the standings. You got to get those points there. But then they play Buffalo, a team that's still trying to show they can. Like, this is a team that's going to be something to be a force to be reckoned with in the next couple of years. So they're not going to back down by any means, even though it's been a bit of a rough patch. But those are 4 points they need to be able to get because they've put themselves in that wild card spot. They hold the number one spot over Pittsburgh, but it's a 2 point gap there. And then Florida's at 79, Washington 76. So it's definitely not a done deal by any means here. So the Islanders are going to have to come out of this with as many points as possible because they're probably not going to be able to make it into the top three in the Metro. So they're going to have to get through the wild card spot. And these next two games, which are very winnable games, you just got to get those points in your back pocket.
For sure. And I'm looking closely at that Washington-Pittsburgh game because I'm wondering, Steven, so right now, Washington 4 points back of Pittsburgh. I believe Pittsburgh has a game in hand. But is this the last time we're going to see a true rivalry type game between Washington and Pittsburgh where it matters for Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin? For all we know, the way these teams are slowly sagging since their cup wins, you could have one team at this time next year completely out of the race. So I think we do need to savor that game because it does matter. There's a wild card spot at stake. In the West, I think that rematch between Nashville and Seattle, we had the good game last night, went to the shootout, and you had UC Saros with a great performance. If Nashville can beat Seattle again on the weekend, suddenly the Predators start hanging around in that race, which is very strange because they gave away so many of their pieces leading up to the deadline, but they're sort of sticking around, hanging tough there.